Noah's back, baby! Much like the movie, this one's a two-hander. Me and Brad to talk about the project, The Hail, the Mary. And it's in theaters. Things are crazy, so we found time for this, and then we'll be back on schedule with streaming stuff next time. But this is, as we said, Project Hail Mary, which came out on March 14th, 2026 with I was surprised, $200 million budget. I don't know why I'm surprised, but
I thought it was 250, but yeah, I thought I heard 250, but
yeah, right. I heard before tax breaks it got close to like 248 or something, potentially.
Yeah,
it says. But it is directed by two of my favorite directors, Lord and Miller. Learned that when it first got announced, but I forgot it until closer to the movie, and then written by the GOAT, Drew Goddard, who's done, if you've seen a script that you enjoyed, maybe not Lost, in terms of a movie or something, he probably wrote it. He also did one of my favorites, which was, I just had it here, Bad Times at the El Royale. One shout out I want to give also is Milana Vaintrub being in the cast. She's the female astronaut, and Maddie and I met her. She's super nice, the unseen squirrel girl. But so far, and it's only Tuesday, the 24th, Project Hail Mary has made $140,906,000 and a cool $007. But all I can say before we get into the 420 reviews is I didn't realize it was 2 hours, 36 minutes until I saw that after seeing the movie. But we're going to jump into 420 reviews. Since this has such a history, which I'm sure we'll hear about with Brad, I'll invite him to go first. But just to explain what a 420 review is, it's a 20-word review with 4 words per line until like 4x4 it gets that 20. And just, summarizes our thoughts in a poetic fashion. If you want to include yours, go to moviesdope.com. You can join for free while you check out the site, and then I'll just drop when. Please submit yours, and we'll include it in these episodes. But Brad, would you like to fly off into your 420 review?
Sure.
Lift off.
Lift off. Man in space alone. Doesn't know why. Wants 2 + 2. Planet saving mode. Statement. What is happening? Question.
Can you say the second line again?
It was doesn't know why. Or he doesn't know why, sorry.
Oh, you said statement. I was like, wait, I missed a question or something in there.
Oh.
Cool.
No, what's 2 + 2? Planet saving mode. Statement. Planet saving mode, comma, statement. What's happening, comma, question.
Definitely didn't do anything similar in format. Mine was On Shoulders of Giants, Martian, Interstellar, First Man, We Soar Higher Still, Bringing Heart, Wonder, Amaze, Fist My Bump, statement.
I was going to do, for my last line, I was going to say, please fist my bump, but I was like, it's not.
You have standards for yourself. But yeah, before we get into like Bradley Cooper's trivia, let's just do non-spoiler. What is your history with this movie or story?
I've read the book and I've listened to the audiobook, so I am well versed in Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary.
Nice. And you said both formats, so like a physical book or an ebook?
A physical book, yep.
Nice. Do you mind going into your relationship with books prior to that? Because this was quite a development from my perspective.
Yeah, so this is like the first one I read in a really long time. So, I mean, I'd seen it and it popped up everywhere. And I was like, oh, I mean, that seems super interesting. And then I actually started listening to the audiobook. I think it was like on YouTube. Somebody had it broken up into segments. And after they started, like, I was on like segment 7 or 8, and I was like, I'm just going to read the book. Like, this is getting too good. So I just picked it up and read through it pretty quick, and then went through the audiobook, which was amazing. So I highly recommend, if you're not the reading type, to have a movie with your mind and go through that audiobook. Nice. And that narrator also does other audiobooks too. So if you do like his narration style, he does do other ones too, other space sci-fi movies. Yeah,
I've heard great things about
space sci-fi books.
Yes. And one detail that struck me is you had previously told me that you wanted to read, but anytime you tried reading, you just fell asleep because it was such a relaxing, experience. I totally got that. So when you're like, yeah, I'm going, I was like, what the fuck? This is cool.
Yeah.
And I've heard great things about it,
Yeah, it always felt more like a chore than like something I wanted to do. And this is like one of the first ones I like really wanted to do. So when they announced the movie, I was like, I'm in, 100% I'm in.
Yeah, and I personally am in for anything Lord and Miller. They do Spider-Verse, they did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Lego Movie, 2122 Jump Street, which 21 Jump Street I think is the first thing I saw. But they are the fired directors of Solo, so clearly geniuses. But for anyone who doesn't know the full history, the writer Andy Weir had just published The Martian because he needed to get it out of his system and put it at the lowest price he could have on Amazon, which is 99 cents because he didn't know how to make it free. And it just got so popular that then he got a traditional book publishing deal, and that movie, which was directed by Ridley Scott, and everything. What was this? His third book? Second book?
I think it was his third. I think it was Artemis. I think it was in the middle. So, did we do The Martian on this? I know we did Arrival, but did we do The Martian?
I don't remember. Yeah, it was. I think it was well done, and actually, I would say there's a lot of similarities to this film. But
if you like The Martian, you'll definitely like this movie. If you didn't like The Martian, I would still give this one a go because I think there's enough differences, and I think Ryan Gosling definitely carries quite a bit for people that maybe are not into the sci-fi genre.
Yeah, and very interesting for this actual film because I said it was written by Drew Goddard. Drew Goddard was the original director of The Martian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so he's got a relationship with Andy Weir then, or you imagine so.
I guess so. I forget why he stepped away. Maybe he was going to do the Daredevil TV show until he left that, and Steve DeKnight took over. I may be getting all my facts wrong, but yeah, he's had a connection, and it was a movie that could have been done really poorly. That wouldn't have worked, or you could have failed at it. But I think both these films. But yeah, now that you've finally seen it on the big screen, and you saw it in 70 millimeter, I saw it in 40X. So you saw it in the biggest format, and I saw it in the format where Ryan Gosling spit on me. So, I think we're both winners.
Yeah, I'd say so.
For context, 40X has the mist stuff. So when he wakes up right at the beginning of the film, they literally just did a right in our face. Started off. It was restrained and very perfect for the film. Even better than Avatar, Fire and Ash, or Ash and Fire.
But yeah, see that movie.
What'd you think now that you've seen it on the big screen?
I think they did a really, really good job. So if you're somebody that's a little bit nervous that have read the book, you're nervous that they always kind of change too many things or they do too many weird things with book adaptations, I think this is really pretty spot on to the book. Surprisingly, it's probably funnier in person. I know there's a lot of funny parts in the book and some that are not necessarily in the movie, but I'd say overall it's pretty funny. I didn't expect to laugh that much.
The movie is funnier or the book is funnier?
I think they're both funny. But I think there were some things that were just I wasn't expecting to go into it to laugh that much. And then also very there was a lot of heartfelt moments throughout the movie that are kind of not expecting.
Yeah, man, it was great. It solved a lot of things from other films that I admire but didn't fully connect with. Like you mentioned, Arrival, that has a similar, we need to figure out how to communicate. But for me, it just didn't feel, the heart wasn't there for me. And then in this film, it's almost the same kind of relationship under obviously different circumstances and locations, but in terms of we need to communicate and figure out why we're both here. But it gave that emotional resonance. It was very funny. It also, we'll get into it, but in one aspect, I was like, oh yeah, that would happen. That would happen, but you wouldn't see it in films a lot. If this was the real situation, just as a hint, goes into the mystery of who he is, because the tiniest detail, he wakes up on a spaceship and doesn't remember anything, and his memories come back as time goes on. But
and both the book and the movie are told in a non-linear fashion, which helps the movie in a sense of character building and storytelling. So they do a lot of flashbacks. And in the book, that's the same way, written the same way too. So Ryland Grace wakes up at the first minute of the movie or the first page of the book, wakes up and has no idea what's going on. So then he slowly has to figure everything out and has to figure out literally everything.
Cool. I know he's gotten very detailed, and NASA people, especially for The Martian, talked about how a lot of his science was actually spot on. How into the weeds does the book get? Because this felt very consumable to a audience or not alienating in terms of being overly verbose with every single thing. Are they similar? Is the book? Yeah.
The movie gives you the broad strokes of everything, but the book definitely goes a little bit more into the weeds with some of the details and some of the nuances of things. But the movie gives you the broad strokes enough that it's consumable for a normal person. But then if you really want to get into the weeds or you really like this movie, you're like, oh man, I really kind of want to know more of the science or how they got to certain things, because in the movie they just kind of gloss over some things or like, oh, it's because of this, and that's just the answer.
Yeah.
Versus they had to figure out how to get to the answer.
Nice.
I'm using they as like a general term.
And then before we get into trivia, because I keep forgetting to say this, there was I forget which movie, but there was one time where I wrote 2 notes. And you were like, that doesn't count. And so I was like, I'm going to keep writing notes. And I wrote notes for the next film, but kept forgetting to mention it. Weirdly, it also does help here. So I add as much as necessary to specifically have it for Project Hail Mary. But I wrote some notes for this movie.
Notes for this movie. Yeah, the people that can't see that, it just literally says, it's a piece of paper that says notes for this movie.
Nailed it. First try, like 7 movies ago. But yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about in non-spoilers before we continue forth into this space traveling adventure?
No.
All right, then it seems
I've got a little bit of trivia and then give it a rate so that we can jump into non-spoilers because, I mean, it's hard not to spoil anything for a movie like this.
Yeah, I think the one thing I had heard about the story is the thing you didn't want us to see spoiled in the trailer.
And I was so disappointed. So don't watch the trailer, just go see the movie.
Yeah, it seems like we're getting into the galaxy of Bradley Cooper's trivia. Our Bradley Cooper's much sexier than the real star. Ha! Double meaning. Space pod. Celebrity status pod.
The actress that played Eva Stratt, I almost said Stout for whatever reason, is Sandra Hullers. This is her first American film. I'm going to go with Huller. It's H-U with the 2 dots above it, L-L-E-R. So this is her first American film.
Nice. She looks familiar, though. I don't know where I've seen her from.
Have you watched any German or Austrian films lately?
Anatomy of a Fall. So we got to do that because it's an amazing movie. Yeah, she's going to be Oscar bait for her whole career if this is her first American one. Because after Anatomy of a Fall, she could have been in a Michael Bay film doing stupid stuff.
We had previously mentioned several things, including Andy Weir, who's the original author of the book. We mentioned Lord and Miller, the directors of this film. They are also attached to another Andy Weir soon-to-be movie, an Artemis, or film adaptation is going to be Artemis.
Are they directing or just producing?
Direct. They're going to direct another one.
All right. Cool. This is only their 3rd live-action film.
That's weird to think about.
Yeah, they almost did MIB 23, so they would have done a spacey alien-type movie way before this one. Totally the same thing. You know, Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, Men in Black. I think they're on equal grounds.
So I'm going to do this without spoiling anything. To help Ryan Gosling's acting and to draw emotions and stuff out of him, he actually was wearing an earpiece in his ear that his daughters were reading some of the opposite characters' lines to him to pull emotions out of it.
I mean, if Meryl Streep couldn't, only his daughters could. That is so sweet and corny as hell in a way I absolutely love.
Not really a fun fact or trivia on this, but the entire spaceship was not green screen. That was all practical effects.
I saw that just when I was Googling around the mention of no green screen or nearly no green screen. I'm not sure, but that's crazy.
Yeah, we'll never know if.
I mean, I'm sure there are full CGI ships and stuff in space, but
yeah, obviously they didn't go to space or to another galaxy or planet. So,
but they may have used like the volume or a bigger version of that, or they could have just used green screen. And the studios are not pointing it out, similar to how Warner Brothers kind of lied about that with Barbie. And they kind of lied about that with Top Gun Maverick and Oppenheimer just a little bit.
Yeah. I did see the mock-up of the ship and everything like that, where they had it all miniaturized and they 3D printed it. So that way they had some details on it so they can also figure out how they're going to get the cameras in certain areas.
Yeah.
Because obviously this is on a spaceship, so I mean you're very, very tight quarters. So how they had to film it and where they had to like open things up to get cameras in and stuff like that, and how they were going to angle certain things.
I love thinking about that. We just built this fake spaceship, and now we have to figure out which wall we can take out to film stuff. Like that must be an interesting puzzle on the puzzle.
Well, especially when you start getting into things like a centrifuge and stuff like that, it just starts really going crazy. Of how you're going to have to film stuff like that.
Great. And then one piece of trivia that people may already be aware of is the dope ranking system, which I'm sure no one needs a reminder.
Wonderful transition.
I was shooting my shot in space, wondering, it feels like we've done all the trivia. Let's momentum this shit. But starting in the stars, we go from ayahuasca S tier down to mushroom, edible, joint, skunky, and for those crazy dimensional, those crazy lands at the end of a wormhole, Molly, which is not good, but so much fun. So, sir, where did you land on this dope ranking for the project?
So this is going to be really difficult for me to rank, just because I think I want to watch it one more time. Because I went into it blind. Like I said, I've only seen a couple of the trailers, but I avoided, as soon as I realized what the trailers were doing, I avoided the trailers. So I went in relatively blind, obviously reading the book, but not knowing how they're going to do the movie. So I want to watch the movie one more time. But with that being said, I think that it will end up probably somewhere between my top 3 to top 5 favorite movies of all time. Ooh. Probably closer to the 3. So, and I'm going to have a hard time not giving this a full ayahuasca. So I'm going to go mushroomy ayahuasca.
You can go ayahuasca if you need to. It's in the top 5, no matter what. Like
it's gonna be there with Lawrence of Arabia and Interstellar.
Nice.
So I think it's going to fall 3rd all time. So it'll be. But I don't want to give it a full I think if any movie I was going to give an ayahuasca to, it'd probably this one. So I think
sometimes ayahuasca settles and goes down a little bit. That's fine.
No, I'll give it the full ayahuasca.
Shoot for the stars. Even if you miss, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll end up with the stars. All right. So what's your rating?
I'll give it a full ayahuasca.
Hey,
because I was going to do mushroomy ayahuasca, but I think I talked myself into it.
Yay. Mine is a full mushroom. This is an excellent film. I would like to see it again. If I could have, I would have seen it again today. But I'm happy with my viewing. And the 4DX really did help it. If you are able to see it again and there's a 4DX theater, I would recommend that for you.
So I can get spit on too. Like it.
I don't recommend 4DX all the time. Like I saw Send Help. The trailer was great and 4DX was fun, but I didn't need to see that film in 4DX. And even if I have Regal Unlimited till December of 2027 at this point, I don't want to spend $10.50 extra to do that. So I know they're expensive tickets, but if you got like AMC A-List or Regal Unlimited and just pay the surcharge, this is one that's worth it. By the way, how much was the 70 millimeter screening? Like how much were those tickets?
I think it was only because I saw it early Sunday morning. I think it was only $14 or something like that. And then with taxes and fees, I think it ended up being like 17.
Still, like if you just saw the 4DX, went to see it in 4DX in my theater, full price, that'd be $30. So holy shit, that's a great price for 70 millimeter.
And another fun trivia fact, because I obviously had to look this up. I knew I'd seen that they were doing this in 70 millimeter, and I saw a video of people wheeling them in on pallet tracks and stuff like that. Yeah. Do you know how long the 70 millimeter film for this was?
Not longer than me. Hey,
10 miles.
I was going to guess 8 miles.
Roughly 10 miles of film.
Damn, one of those frames must be like one frame is almost probably bigger than my face. That's crazy.
Yep. Fun fact of the day. I've never done this before.
Done what before?
Moved into spoiler territory.
But hey, this is a movie about so many things people haven't done before. So that was your warning. 3, 2, 1. Was it the fact that the alien was in the movie that you hated in the trailer?
Yes. Heaven Rocky. Yeah. Because the first trailer I saw, I think it was the Super Bowl one, and he like fist bumps right the last frame. And I was just like, no, that's such a big part to this movie that you don't need to show that. Well, I guess I hated that they did it. I understand why they have a little fist bump at the end. Like I would have been, if that would have been the end of it, that would have been okay. Yeah. But then they started showing full trailers of what Rocky looked like and stuff like that too. I'd seen one that was like him full. I was just like, I mean, I understand you're trying to get people to see this movie, but like I think there's enough hype around it with Ryan Gosling, the book being very popular, all that kind of stuff. Like I don't think you really need to go that far.
Yeah, and that's tough too because Ryan Gosling's other movie, First Man, made $105.7 million worldwide. So, like, I wonder what would have happened if they had sold it without Rocky, even though there's such a huge chunk of the movie. Or on the flip side, could that have gotten people to not want to see it because they're seeing a goofy little rock guy? It's tough. I know The Martian got 630 million worldwide, so maybe they could have done it, but
I think they could have just based off the popularity of the book. Because I forgot when the book was written. I think it was like 2020, but I think it was like 2021, 2022 is when like the book started like taking off in popularity.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty much on everybody's like TikToks there for a little while because like everybody was talking about the book or the audiobook for it. So it just seemed like, I mean, even people that probably never read the book know of the book just because of how popular it was.
Even quicker turnaround on the movie. The book came out in May 4th, 2021. So
okay.
We're not even to the 5-year anniversary of it yet. But yeah, it's tough because like, do you consider, since it's such a large portion of the movie, almost inescapable, kind of like, well, I was going to say hiding like Hogwarts in Harry Potter, but that is actually relatively quick that they get into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because it's such a big thing, and the book plays it up a little bit more than the movie does. The movie, it's very, I don't want to say it's quick, but like in the book, Ryan Grace, Ryan Reynolds goes through more of like a uncertainty of like what's going on. Like obviously in the movie he plays with them and it's funny. Like the blip going back and forth. Yeah. And then like catches the, like, I think it was like the third rock that he throws at him and realizes that it twists off and stuff like that. So I think in the book it's a little bit more, I don't want to say scary, but like in a sense of like uncertain.
There's more tension around the reveal.
Yeah, versus in the movie, like he kind of just like, oh, let me go over there and wander, and then look in, and oh, there he is. So,
it's fair.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what other. There's some other things too that either happen or don't happen in the book. In the movie, one of the things I didn't really like, and this is probably like the only minor detail I would change, is in the movie they made it feel like there was like a tension or like a love interest between Ryan Gosling, Grace, and Strat, where in the book it's not. There's nothing there. Like they don't have the karaoke scene of her singing.
Oh, is she a less humanized character?
More militant. She's doing everything she can to save the planet versus in this where she feels a little bit more humanized, a little bit more real. Yeah. Like, yeah, she's very direct. And I mean, it's funny. You know, he's in there messing with the astrophage, and I feel like I'm a guinea pig. I feel like I'm a test subject. Is that how you guys feel about me? So she's like, hold on, beep, and then talks to all the generals behind her. It is preferred that you do not die. But that is a risk we're willing to take. So she, like in the book, she's more like that.
Yeah,
very very direct, but like she knows what she's doing. Of like, I'm in charge of saving the world. If not, half the planet's going to die of starvation. The other half's going to die fighting each other, blah, blah, blah. So she knows the stress that she's put under.
Yeah.
After Ryan leaves, one of the decisions that gets made, or after Grace, Ryan Gosling leaves, they have to do some things because obviously the sun's being eaten by the astrophage. The energy is. They have to nuke the polar ice cap because in the polar ice caps, there's enough CO2 to kind of lock in the heat to try and keep the planet as warm as they can. Obviously, that's a highly unpopular thing to do.
Yeah.
So she takes a lot of heat for that. To help with the breeding of the astrophage, they had to put in solar panels in the Sahara Desert. I forgot how many miles it was to help with the breeding process. I mean, so obviously, that's not super popular idea to take a large portion of Saudi Arabia and just solar panels. So she takes some flack for that, obviously, to get the project off the ground and everything like that. So
yeah,
just there's a lot of small nuances. I would say like 98% of the book is here, but there's some small things. Obviously the science, like I said, they kind of gloss over a lot of things.
You did remind me of one science question I had about it. They talked about breeding the astrophage, I believe it's called. And it's kind of like a multiplication process, kind of like the question, would you rather have $1 million or a penny that doubled in price every day for a month? And I think the answer is penny. because it ends up being more than $1 million. They said they only had enough for a one-way trip, but in my mind, I was like, wait, then why don't you just wait 3 days and you'll have double the astrophage? but like, I don't know if there was something in the book that talked about the extra load, or they didn't have space to fit it in the rockets for a round trip. But that's something that was the only moment in the whole film where I was like, but I'm actually it's not as hard as you think.
If I remember correctly, it was a couple of different things. One, they have to take off at a certain time, otherwise it would have missed their window to launch. Sure. I do think there was an extra weight factor and the vulnerability of like, now you're taking double the fuel. If something goes wrong, it's going to be an even bigger bang kind of thing. And like, do you want to take that extra risk of having that extra weight and fuel and all that kind of stuff? So I think there was a couple things, but the biggest one was I think they had a small window that they could launch from, which would have put them on the right trajectory and everything like that, which is why
Begonia.
When the scientists blew up in the explosion, they had to you have to go. You've got 3 hours to decide. You're leaving in 2 days or whatever it was. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you've got 2 hours, I'll give you 3 hours to decide. And he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's the moment that I really loved, because when she was talking and explaining something, like saying something heartfelt, I forget what it was, but the point was, so she said, so that you would understand why I'm doing this. I was like, duh, like as if he would have been able to just walk out and not been like Hannibal Lectered to that fucking rocket ship. Are you kidding me? Under those circumstances, like we don't have free will, not fully. It's free will impacted by the free will of others. So it's a symbiotic free will, and symbiotes are not always positive. But gosh, like, yeah, I don't know how it felt so quick. And it keeps reminding me of other things that were negative in other movies, but it did well. Like in Return of the King, everyone jokes about the 15 endings. This felt like it had multiple ending points, but when it kept going, it didn't feel like it was stretching the taffy. It didn't feel like it was outstaying its welcome or running on astrofumes. Even the planet, seeing Rocky's planet at the end was great. And also them meeting made perfect sense. Like in a whole universe, of course they wouldn't be the only people there having found the answer and hoping to reveal the mystery of the answer, like, or whatever you'd call it.
And the funny thing is too, like, so they're not the only ones. We're not the only ones trying to find an answer. They're not the only ones trying to find an answer. We happen to meet roughly at the same time, kind of not. But they didn't have all the same technologies that we had. We didn't have all the same technologies they had because we developed at different times and different structures. So like, and
they don't
obviously
even like oxygen.
Yeah, because they like ammonia and they live underground and their gravity is like twice as heavy as ours or whatever.
I love that you remember all of that.
They didn't understand relativity. They didn't understand relativity. They didn't understand, or they didn't even know about radiation in space. So that's when Rocky's entire ship dies, and he's the only one because he's next to astrophage. The astrophage is eating the radiation. Like he happened to get lucky, that's the only one, but that's only because they didn't know anything about it. Rocky was actually in space for 46 years, so it was roughly 1/4 of his life spent on this mission. So that's
kind of another fun fact. Grace in there?
It was either 4 or 6 years to get there because of the astrophage.
How the fuck did Rocky know about it early?
Yeah. Well, I mean, our son was probably we were either not smart enough to figure it out fast enough, or it attacked our son later than it attacked theirs.
Wow.
So,
random side note, anyone who hasn't seen Pluribus, change that soon because it's great. But yeah.
Let's see, there was another thing too that the change. Oh, the one thing they didn't really mention in the movie is, and this is, I guess, not a spoiler, but like Andy Weir didn't directly want to tell us why they other astronauts died, because he's planning a spin-off to this book. So that's going to explain that a little bit more. In the book, they describe that you need to undergo this long-term coma, that you need a special gene, and Grace had that special gene. Didn't know he didn't know he had it, but Strat did. So he was always like the Hail Mary to the Hail Mary, in a sense of like, you're our last ditch effort and you happen to have this gene. So if anything, the worst case scenario happens, that you'll hopefully survive the coma. The other two pilots had that same gene, but didn't survive.
Yeah.
Just unlucky.
So when you say it, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
When you say it's a spin-off, are they going to still use Grace when exploring this X gene?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know what you did there. You made an X-Men reference, and I just skipped it.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be like. Yeah, and then this is a Lord of the Rings dragon planet, and we're just all chilling while our sun's cooling. But then like this random like comet just went across, and we radiated it with cool Lord of the Rings radiation. And then our sun got better. We don't know what happened. That's how.
Thank you for mentioning that, because again, I'm making comparisons to the movie because the book of the movie. So in the book, in the epilogue, so after we see Grace teaching on his planet, on Rocky's planet, Rocky comes back in the epilogue and says that they've been studying the sun soul, and they can see that it's getting brighter, which means that everything that we did worked for your planet as well as it worked for theirs. So,
and I forget, did they cure that sun, or those two suns, or all the suns in their section?
They didn't say specifically, but obviously Rocky took back his section, which is why Grace had to turn around, blah, blah, blah. And then we saved ours. So I don't know if maybe the bacteria moved with it, or if they were going to do that. They never specifically mentioned in the book.
Maybe they just avoided a whole Star Wars universe down the line by 90% Thanos snapping everyone else away.
Possibly. Only two intelligent beings in the universe that need the sun.
The two races, rock and paper.
Pretty much.
Spinoff will cover scissors. But yeah, it
was a nice see through all the way through the movie of him being a teacher, getting to being a scientist, then getting fired for being a scientist for saying that water doesn't need to be in everything, to being a teacher, to being back to a scientist, to back being a teacher to teach Rocky's planet, which was kind of a nice little
finding that there was water in that one what was it called at the beginning? We were like, damn it.
Oh, the astrophage. Yeah.
So does Rocky have any water in his system, or no? Is Rocky just a living embodiment of Grace's hot take?
Not 100% sure. They obviously have water on their planet because we see it at the end, and they have like the machines underneath it. They're making tide. But I don't think he ever needs water, because I think he just eats like a crystal of some sort. Okay. I don't remember what the crystal was.
Rock candy.
Oh man, it's getting deep in here, and
I don't know if the cringe is more often or less often without Milan as a buffer.
All right, so obviously I know the book side of things, and so I knew how the story was going to go this entire time, the broad strokes of it at least. How did you like the storytelling of the nonlinear stuff? Waking up to not waking up to knowing anything. In the book, it's a little bit longer that he doesn't know anything, and then like in the movie, he immediately looks outside and he can see space. Where in the book, he's trapped in a room and he has to figure out how to get out of that room and then travel to the next room, and so he doesn't realize he's in space for quite a while, for probably like the first chapter and a half, 2 chapters.
Yeah.
How is it from you on your side of things?
I loved it. I think if it was the book, it would depend on what percentage of the book is that escape room thing, because compared to, I think in a movie that could feel tedious if it took 30 minutes, where it's just like, okay, yeah, you're remembering to be a rocket scientist or whatever, or you're remembering what the unlock the door button was. I get it. This is realistic, but it could drag more if done poorly. But no, I just enjoyed how it evolved, how it revealed itself. I knew about the alien. I think I had heard someone say like it's another space thing, but he meets an alien. So I know it existed there. And even in the trailer that I walked out of that I sent you a video of, I heard the alien probably say amaze, amaze, amaze or something like that near the beginning of the trailer. But I thought it was gorgeous. I thought they did it well, even though it reminded me of Interstellar, similar to how I said in the 420 review and in the non-spoiler. It did it in a way that was satisfying to me. And I think if we haven't, we should probably do Interstellar eventually, because I would love to just hear you gush about it to hopefully convince me that I'm just wrong.
I'm pretty sure we've done it already.
But
I think it was pre Milan. I think it was just you and me that did that one.
All right. But yeah, it feels, it's no surprise to me that Lord and Miller did this, because it's brilliant. I loved it. For their 3 live action films, it is the one that feels more planned, obviously, and less improv-y. Like if you go to 21 and 22 Jump Street and you're obsessed about film, you could probably see where they cut around improv-y sections or it's not as polished. But maybe just through all the animated processes that they've gone through over the years, and 21 22 Jump Street being improv heavy and being earlier, they just honed their craft for visuals in a live action setting. So I thought, masterpiece. Like, I don't know if I want to go this hard, but I would put this up against the best of like Nolan's films, or some of the best filmmaking out there, best Scorsese, Cameron films. Just did a really good job. And if there is a movie that's 2 hours 39 minutes or whatever it is, and it doesn't feel like it, that's a magic trick in and of itself. I think they did a really great job. Rocky was amazing. All the hundreds of people that had to go into helping. And I think I saw a headline or something that said that Rocky was a puppet. So I need to look into that, because I would never would have guessed.
The voice was actually the puppeteer.
Like the actual voice in the... Oh, that's so adorable. I love that so much. Still should have gotten Meryl Streep. No, but
let me double check, because I'd seen it on my list of trivia stuff here.
Brilliant opportunity for little cameos, though. I love the Meryl Streep cameo.
Rocky's computerized voice is provided by the lead puppeteer, James Ortiz.
That's so cool. Missed opportunity to not have Dame Judi Dench in there as well, because she does some great cameos in Pirates of the Caribbean 4 and Spirited, and so to continue that streak. But yeah, it feels understated in a strong way. Like, imagine James Bond as a gentleman spy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very fancy and very strong, but doesn't. To reference, I think, Family Guy, it doesn't insist upon itself. It's just like, it's kind of a secret sleeper masterpiece where I don't know if anyone's going to go out and just be like, holy fucking shit, Inception, like it just blew or holy shit, the mate, like I have to rethink everything. But it's one that'll always, I think, deservedly be in people's top 3 or 5s or top hundreds. The fact that it's in the top 100 for Letterboxd, not really a surprise to me. It just in that spot.
Well, I think part of it too is that like it does everything really, really well and doesn't do anything really bad. Like the humor hits. There's a lot of very emotional scenes of positive and negative emotions, and like obviously when he has to say goodbye to Rocky for the first time, like, or I guess the only time in the movie, but no, like the astronauts talking about how they're on a death mission. That was beautiful, and they're okay with it, and
the explosion, like, was really intense when Rocky's putting himself at risk to save Ryan Reynolds. I'm like, why are you going to die? Like, why are you both going to die? Leave him. You rock too much.
Obviously the excitement and thrillingness of like their cannonball that they needed to fill up with the bacteria. Then like the happy emotions of like, yes, they did it. They figured out a way to do it. Now they just got to send the stuff back. And then he starts on his way back 40 something days in, and he realizes, oh shit, like the bacteria escaped and is now eating my fuel source.
Yeah.
So now either I figured out a way to do it. Either I have to go back and save myself and leave Rocky and his plan to die, or I send my stuff and I go to die at Rocky's planet, knowing that, like, he's only got food he said he could stretch it for up to a couple of years at best.
Yeah.
And another fun fact, what to answer this question, because it would have eventually come up, like, you only have a couple of years of food. How did you eat on Rocky's planet? Rocky and his science team were able to clone Grace's protein enzymes, and he made like me burgers. So he makes a joke in the book about him eating me burgers of just his protein enzymes that they were able to manufacture.
That's a whole other level of cannibalism. Oh my god!
So that's not in the movie. Obviously, that probably wouldn't go over so well, but
really cool with the structures in between them too. How they can kind of break down and become all the glass like fitting together with Rocky in his classroom for Grace later. Yeah, just
that. like the comedy of like the first time Rocky's going into Grace's ship and it's like, why is it so dirty? And like he's just like running over things and hitting things and bouncing off things because he just doesn't understand the ball yet as he's running through. And like there were so many like highs and so many lows in such a short time that it didn't feel exhausting to watch, but at the same time, like it didn't feel like you could stop at any moment, or the film could stop at that moment and be done. But when it keeps going, you don't feel like it's like dragging its feet at all. Like there's several moments throughout the movie, but the biggest ones I think of are like finding the thing or finding out the bacteria. Mm-hmm. Them almost dying could have ended there. Them sending off the bacteria or finding the bacteria and separating both ways, saving Rocky and going onto his ship. Going onto the ship doesn't happen in the book, but like that whole section, and then like obviously the final ending. But you feel like it could have kept going from there because they had built a ship, and he's like, you know what, we'll just hold off on that for right now. And then he taps into the classroom and starts teaching the kids. So I mean, like there's so many highs and lows that it didn't feel like it was like exhausting to watch.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, you and Philip DeFranco were correct. This is a great story, and I will look forward to all the adaptations of his books, like Artemis and whatever this spinoff is. But let me see. I just want to see how many books he has so far.
4. Martian, Artemis, Project Hail Mary. I think there's a 4th one.
I think he did some short story called The Egg. But let's see. There's like, it looks like a children's graphic novel, a young adult graphic novel. He did it with Sarah Anderson. Yeah, he collaborated on it looks like a young adult graphic novel with Sarah Anderson. That's the 4th one. That's so interesting. This guy's life is similar in my mind to the guy from Crazy Rich Asians, because Crazy Rich Asians was that guy's first film role. He didn't even want to act. The director just saw a picture of him on Instagram and was like, hey, want to audition? Obviously, that's more of a Cinderella story than a guy who actually wrote and published his own book. But still, like, first out of the gate, and then you're just continuously hitting homers.
Yeah, considering like one of your first major books is The Martian.
Yeah.
And like that gets made into a major motion picture. And then you write Artemis, and then you write Project Hail Mary, and like within 4 years it goes from you releasing the book to being a film adaptation of Ryan Gosling. Like, and
this is the film that Lord and Miller chose to like pause process on Beyond the Spider-Verse to do, because they were talking about Beyond the Spider-Verse. They're like, just making sure it's all good, like the best it can be. We're going down avenues and like making mistakes and figuring out how to do things better. Whoops, I just did the layout weird. And then we also, diverted to do this one thing, which is fucking Project Hail Mary. It's just great. I'm excited for Artemis, since I'm just seeing a heist story set on the moon.
I haven't read Artemis, or I haven't read the book for The Martian. I've been told that Artemis isn't as good as the other two, but I mean, I would still give it a read just to verify for myself, because I've put a lot of trust in Andy Weir. So
very cool. Did it live up to your hype?
Yeah, I would say so. I went in with super high expectations, and knowing that I didn't want to like go in too high because I didn't want it to get let down. And then I started seeing some of the reviews and stuff like that for it, of like one sentence reviews, not spoiling anything, or like people saying, it's really, really good, or it's like amazing, blah, blah, blah. And the thing that sold me was like, it is really a faithful recreation of the book. There was a couple, I'd seen a few things of things that they had left out, and I was like, I'm not worried about it. If that's the biggest thing that they left out, of like some of the backroom science stuff, some of the more controversial things like nuking the polar ice cap, stuff like that. I was like, I'm okay with this. Like, this is fine.
Yeah, so, imagine they fix it and then they all drown.
Yeah, that'd be pretty messed up.
Because I know this is very deep into it, but if anyone doesn't know already, if the ice caps melted, we would drown, because it's actually doing pulling the tide away by putting ice above sea level. So imagine nuking this polar ice caps, and then it comes back, is like, got the solution. Is like, well, hold on.
Kinda.
Can we do 60% of the solution?
You warmed it up, yes, but you drowned everybody. So
Noah's back, baby. Yeah, good call. Very good call. Well, I think at the end of the universe, I don't know what I'm referencing, but I'm referencing something. I think it's a Douglas Adams quote. Anywho, at the end of the universe, we can agree that this movie may be ayahuasca. It may also be mushroom, but no matter what, in any galaxy, this movie's dope because movies are dope. And lift off.
Bye-bye now.
Yes, thank you for. Oh, is this better than The Bluff?
Yes. Yes, it
How
is.
dare you fucking ask me that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. I mean, if this is going to go in the top 3, I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah, you're not.
Like, I fully expect this to win so many awards this year. I expect this to be like, I don't know, a super, super popular movie that like kind of like Inception and stuff like that were. So
Yeah.
hopefully it gets all the praise and all the love it deserves. And that way Lord Miller can do the Artemis Artemis, not the Artemis, can do that movie really well. And we have another back-to-back banger. So let's hope.
Yeah, I will say I'm surprised didn't have another Barbenheimer because, Project Screaming Mary just was right there.
Why? What's the other movie?
Scream.
Oh, Scream 7. Yeah.
Apparently the worst of them, but okay. Bye-bye.
Oh, I know.
I'm living in a movie, there's a scene you gotta jump. I got my people at the viewing who all knew me selling tickets. Yeah, they talking about the beauty. I see Scorsese outside saying this isn't cinema. Free man, I ain't doing shit tomorrow, I don't need plans. I'll be kicking it till April off for $3 grand. I don't even need the money, I just need fans.